film The Alchemist of Sound is about trying to understand the way of thinking of Antonio Stradivari when he was making his instruments. I think if there was any secret in his making, it was nothing he made a secret of, but rather the opposite. It was something we can't explain anymore in our modern scientific way of thinking. In the end, we have to realize in the times of Stradivari, modern science didn't exist yet. So if he did employ any rational way of thinking, this was influenced by the alchemists. Modern science completely abandoned the alchemical procedures because they could prove certain procedures to be completely wrong. For example, we know today that lead can't be transformed into gold. However, the alchemists did not only have the goal to transform lead into gold. Alchemy was in its essence a philosophy which tried to transform imperfect things or materials into perfect things. And at this point, I think there's a very interesting link to Antonio Stradivari because he tried to make the perfect violin. Now, if you look into alchemy, we find that they tried to transform imperfect things into perfect things in 7 successive steps. At first sight, this does not seem to have many things in common with violin making, but if we have a closer look, we find some quite interesting features. I tried now to reconstruct the violin following the alchemical procedures, and one of the most unusual features in making a violin the alchemist way is the use of water. If we think about the reasons why Stradivari used water in the process of making his instruments, we don't really find any reasonable answers, at least not to our modern scientific way of thinking. But in a simple analogy, we can say that not everything in the making process must be logical, just as modern constructions use in their calculation irrational numbers and the buildings still stand. If we think about the reasons why Stradivari employed the methods of the alchemists, there is probably no reasonable answer other than he wanted to make perfect things, and to do so he had to employ some unusual methods, which were the use of water. In our modern way of thinking, if we try to interpret the use of water and what it does in the end to alter the sound, it is probably that using water takes stress out of the wood, and the result in the sound makes a purer sound than other violins.